Oh,
Wait, slow. Put a perspective face on it.
I see the resemblance.
Doña María de la Luz Alfaro, just born April 20th, 1902. She passed away November 11th, 2005. I don't know why I was so emotional today. Anyhow, she's a spectacular human being. She did a lot of good for this world. And I read this last year, and I'm just going to share it again because it's worth reading. When I was a young child, living in the barrios of inner city San Antonio, with my great-grandmother, Ama, I recall, Maria de la Luz, she was only 4'8" tall. Everyone chose to look up to her. They had to raise their heads and their hearts up high to see her wisdom. Early summer 1968, a 7-year-old boy carrying a Humphrey Muskie sign stands in the corner of Brady Street in Cerralbo in front of Winston Elementary. His 66-year-old grandmother hands out pamphlets of Democratic propaganda. The primary is won, however, Nixon would eventually win the presidency. The Vietnam War is in full-scale deadly bloom. Meanwhile, in the barrios of San Antonio, vigils are held in candlelit living rooms and parlors for the brothers, cousins, uncles, fathers, and friends killed in the Vietnam War. A 66-year-old grandmother takes her 7-year-old grandchild to a local movie drive-in where a stage has been erected for anti-war protests, where the anti-war Mexican-American Chicano rock star by the name of Santana was believed to make a surprise appearance. There at the Frio City Road drive-in were gathered a giant cacophony of hippies, a melange of colorful, disheveled peace soldiers. There were women whose light skin tie-dyed, low-collared shirts revealing their braless breast impressions. Our favorite hippie, One-Armed Rudy, was there too. There was a shirtless young man with beards and low-lying mustache tails. There were bikers with arms and tattooed torso landscapes. There were flowers filled in heaps commemorating the fallen soldiers. There were lips kissing babies, lips kissing foreheads, lips kissing joints, lips kissing pipes, lips kissing the music in the air, lips kissing the sky. There were chants of hell no, we won't go, make love not war, no more war, undulating throughout. Infants scurried, wearing no pants, peeing wherever and whenever they pleased. Little flower children with bubble wands making long tubular bubbles and giggles everywhere. Giggles of infants, giggles of flower children, giggles of patchouli-scented acid trippers. There, outside of the drive-in, religious freaks waving signs. Heathens, go to hell, Jesus saves. Serve your country, not your bodies. Yes, but we were inside, not outside. Inside was a simple circle with a peace sign. We were there, yes, me, and my tiny little Mexican-American gray-haired woman wearing black horn-rimmed glasses, wearing a black high cotton dress. Adorned, she wore a cross pendant with a superimposed Jesus hands over her heart. Another pendant on her collar with a mustard seed inside of a water bubble, symbolizing the words of Jesus. It takes only a mustard seed to move a mountain. She was there with her own flower child, me, with knee-high shorts, checkered shirt, cheap rubber gum black and white sneakers, white calf socks. I had no flowers, no tie-dye, just a short conservative haircut, and my great-grandmother wore her hair in tight conservative bun. We were there, plain ducklings in the kaleidoscope of Hippieville. I recall asking my mom, Maria de la Luz, who was only 4'8" tall, why are we here? She softly responded, because we belong here. She added, one day you will understand. The rock music was deafening with throngs of loud cheers of debauchery. The air was hot smoke dense. I was stoned from just breathing. Ama asked, "What is that smoke that's making me dizzy?" She says, "Marijuana. For some, it is to bring them joy and relaxation. For others, it's medicine," she responded. "Medicine to help those who need help coping with the sadness and the anger and from the grief that the war has given them. We don't need that medicine because we have prayer." "Prayer is like medicine?" I asked. She says, "Yes, but 1,000 times stronger." So I asked, "But why do they smoke it if prayer is 1,000 times stronger?" She looked at me deeply and intensely within mine eyes, and sometimes, she says, sometimes I add a little sugar to the rice to make the rice a dessert. It makes you happy, and yet the rice still feeds you. Prayer is the meal. Marijuana is the sugar that some people think they need to appreciate the prayer meal. You're a fortunate child. You don't need sugar to pray. You understand what is important in life. The peace rally continued with rock bands and speeches and battle cries for peace. The stage was stuffed with hippies protesting for peace, statesmen thanking all for keeping the peace, and then called up to the microphone was my great-grandmother, all 4'8" of Maria de la Luz. Everyone chose to look up to her. They had to raise their heads and hearts up high to see her wisdom. Her speech, as close as I can remember, was in Spanish and a little bit of English. "Gracias for all your involvement and all your support. As your Democratic District Chairperson, I'm not here to be your leader, but to be your supporter. I'm not a leader. I'm here to mourn with you. Every week we carry a casket down our humble streets to mourn our loved ones. Every week we have a fiesta to celebrate the survival of our loved ones, still in battle. I cry, as we all wail when another child of ours comes home in a casket. We all Americans, but some of us Mexican Americans, I ask, why are Mexican Americans the largest group to be sent to fight in the front line? Why are Negro and Mexican Americans chosen to fight ahead of the Anglos? Can it be that we are the real fighters for freedom? Can it be that we, of all people, need to fight for our freedom? Every week we carry caskets home with the remains of our loved ones. Every week we have fiestas for our young warriors before they head out to the battlefields. I ask you, do you do the same? If not, are you not American, for you have not suffered? We're here because we do not want to suffer any longer. We don't want suffering for anyone, not even our perceived enemies. We want to live in harmony with all living beings. She spoke softly. The stage microphone was turned up to carry her message across the field and the streets and the neighborhoods and the masses. I have lived through many plagues. Influenza took my first 2 children. Cholera took another. Polio, diphtheria, smallpox, measles, mumps, and tuberculosis took my 2 eldest daughters, including one that is my great-grandson's grandmother. These diseases were not evil. They had no conscience. They were merely competing organisms fighting to exist, not consciously knowing that they were causing suffering, for a bacteria nor a virus has a brain. It is merely a cell in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I've seen a lot of diseases. The greatest and deadliest disease that does have brains and does have a consciousness, it collectively processes information. It walks, it talks, and it maims, and it kills. This disease is called war. Wars bring men together in collective madness. It is a mental illness that we must find a cure for. I've survived hurricanes and earthquakes, and each time one of these catastrophes occurred, the people came together to help one another. Catastrophe brings people together. We're here because a greater catastrophe has brought us together. I wish we were just here for the music and to celebrate life and music and dance. But no, we're here to defend life itself. I'm not a hippie, but may I say that I'm proud that you are here defending life and demanding peace. Let us demand peace, not just here with our word. Let us demand peace everywhere we go with our actions. Let us not carry peace in a casket, bury it Let us not carry peace in a casket, bury it under a meaningless flag. Better to teach our children peace, teach our parents peace, teach the world peace with our actions. We all know that in the absence of greed lies peace. Teaching peace to the greedy is our biggest challenge, but we must. We must teach peace in a big way. That is why we're here, to teach peace to the world that's listening, and we must demand that they listen. That's all I have to say. One more thing. Please don't forget to drink plenty of water. It's hot out here. And the crowd was silent. The smoking ceased. The applause was harmonious. Some tears were shed. Some cheers were heard. Maria de la Luz was 4'8" tall. Everyone chose to look up at her. They had to raise their heads and hearts up very high to see her wisdom. She walked off the stage in her conservative dress, her gray hair and tight bun, her horn-rimmed glasses. She took my hand and walked us to the middle of the peace rally. As we walked, the crowd parted, making way for our path to the middle, clapping and kissing, saying namaste and thank you and we love you, Luz. When we reached the middle of the Mass, she looked into my eyes and she said, "We belong here." And I understood.